think all of us can, pardon me, to the fact that this energy has been pretty full on. Pretty full on. Today was different. Today was extra. More than likely because of the transit of the Scorpio moon. We're here tonight, 13th. Yeah, we've already got the moon in Scorpio, but it hasn't hit yet, and I'm really worried because I was feeling the intensity by the afternoon, and I think we may select a rune cast for the masculine and the feminine on this occasion because I do believe this is pretty heavy. If you didn't get a notification, my apologies. It is due to the fact that I did open a lot of videos. I didn't know I hadn't scheduled the ones to the main page. So if you ever come across the fact that Yildiz has not released a video, PM me because they're there, okay? Sometimes I just think I've done it and I'm going with the flow because we have these schedules these days, right? Bad, mate. Okay, so I'm going to find the rune cast in the book, and this is for the joint connection, feminine and masculine. So bear with me 5 minutes. We're doing this live. And then I will channel in the cards, and we'll see what comes through. So, okay, that is the first one. I might even pick a card per one and see what comes through for that. Put it in the book. What do we need to know? First one. Now let's select the other rune cast. Feminine. And masculine's got a similar one. Same shape, different meaning. This yin and yang energy. Oh, thank goodness. I love it when things flow. It doesn't happen very often, but heck. Okay, so I've found them in the book. We're going to get the cards, and we're going to pull and see what comes through. I'm a bit nervous, actually, due to the fact there is a possibility it could be a little bit messy. Okay. Energy is heavy. We are in the midst of change. We are in the number 11 vibration, which 11 can be both positive, but it also can be complicated. I think any number, angel number, twin flame number, we're always going to get the yin to the yang with it. And so with the 11s, we've gone from the zeros to the ones. What can happen is we're having that new chapter, but we may feel the tools aren't at our disposition. They're not on hand. We don't quite know what to do. We're having to be very creative. A lot of base chakra is going to come up. Within the TF journey as well, it is stating there is a new chapter. We're kind of venturing through. It's like, what do we leave behind? What do we take forward with us? Endings and new beginnings, but is it an ending or is it just a new way of dealing with the circumstance? So it can be quite intense with that frequency as we are proceeding forward, and there can be some apprehension. I'm definitely picking on divine feminine side that there's apprehension to do with this. This also can be protectiveness because you're spiritually feeling as though, what would the word be? Cautious. Yeah, cautious. Okay. Yeah, big changes. I think it has been a while since I pulled cards for myself. I think sometimes you just want to sit there and you're like, okay, give me the energy. Many times I've heard people actually say, but when I pull my cards, I have too much ego involved. I think sometimes you do know in the context of what the feeling and the vibration is. How to know that you don't have the ego involved is because you're receiving the message. So it was a while ago, but some of you may be drawn to pull your own cards, especially relating to a circumstance. I probably would use an oracle card at this point during the Scorpio moon because it is going to be heavy. And Give it a couple of days for this energy to subside, because it is going to feel a little bit funky as we're adjusting to this. I have pulled quite a few cards for this, so it must be a very in-depth energy that's coming through. I think a lot of clarity is wanted, especially to do with the twin flame path at the moment and where things stand. I did say on the super chats today I was going to make mention of the documentary. I might do a little update about it, because they do have a twin flame documentary that's come up. And the reasons why I believe I'm actually not surprised by it is due to the fact that when we have a transit of Saturn and Pisces, it is to do with the 12th house. So it's very common for us to lose our faith in a circumstance. It's common for cults and things to that degree. A lot of what we promote here on this channel is to do with healing. And it's a little bit like the X-Files. Both polarities exist, both the spiritual energy of things and all places, as well as the 3D, which is accountability, growing, and the fact that our changed behavior can change outcomes. So we try to look at the more positive side of things over the codependent. Okay, well, this is a big read. So whomever is tuning in, a very warm welcome. Okay, I don't know why I heard the term mirror the situation. There could be a circumstance of how you're dealing with the circumstance with your twin flame path at the moment. You might have to mirror the situation back. Okay, let's get into the ruin cast for the joint connection. And then as I do both sides of the read, how you're viewing it, what's coming up for you, I'll read your ruin cast as well for the feminine or the masculine. Now, the first ruin cast we have. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. I pulled a card per ruin cast, and we had Goddess of Sensuality. It's in reverse. You know, there can be a feeling to do with this. There can be a and you know, the Scorpio moon can be the sacral chakra. It can be the sexual energy. It may be that we don't have a lot of energy, or we do feel more protective of ourselves through the transit. And this also can be the serpent rising that is coming out for both masculine and feminine in the mix. Now, this is the ruin cast. That is the crowning energy. Okay, what is it linked to? Lily of the Valley. Oh, God. Goose, Pearl, Uranus, White, and Fire. This is going to be a sudden change, okay? First feeling. Does it feel nerve-wracking? Have you ever gone over a hill really quick and your guts have gone up around your throat? That's kind of how it feels. So there's this apprehension as well as this frequency that something's coming, that something's about to shift and change, but it does feel as though it is going to happen quite quickly. Okay. Mundane. It is in the upright. Misfortune, damage, shock. Sudden change, short-term distress followed by long-term rewards. And we're going to talk about that in a minute, because I do think it's very linked to the transits, as well as in this 3D, what we're physically experiencing when it does come to the path. Esoteric meaning. So this isn't bad. Trust me when I say it isn't bad. Powerful natural forces, evolution, regeneration, cosmic union. And it isn't in reverse. Not that that is good or bad, but we'll explain it in a minute. As well as warning of us of a potential crisis or catastrophe. It may advise us to take care when catalyzing our ideas that we do not damage the very thing that sustains us on the most fundamental level of being. Makes sense. Yeah, it's like not losing your spirituality, not losing your faith in circumstances, but also not to get the bitterness of the frequency of change, like universe is against you. Okay. Many times on my spiritual awakening, I heard one lady say on YouTube, oh, fives. Yep, fives just signifies change, and 100% it does. Now, can those changes initially that we're going through feel comfortable? Not necessarily, and sometimes we can have an ego attached to it. So we may avoid that change for fear that we may not get that outcome that we're desiring. But a lot of times when we do actually either pull a tower down or we're physically experiencing one, what we're actually attracting is a new chapter regardless. And so what in our ego we thought would damage a situation can actually cause radical change and movement. So it is about trusting the process and having less ego involved. But it's also not losing your faith and feeling that everything is going to remain the same. Now, the shock of the new is very common. And I do get with this ruin cast at the moment, we could feel that something is being taken from us. And especially in this path, it's like, in the joint connection, there can be paranoia coming up this week. There can be feelings of woundedness and damage and great loss. So the heart chakra also is going through a lot of upheaval at this point in time. And the crowning energy that we do have coming up is the world. Now, it's almost like sometimes we're paying the ferryman, we're clearing karmic debt. But again, this is a wrapping up of a cycle, and this is a beginning of a new one. And when we hear, things are quite circular in nature, it's like seasons changing, so to speak. We do get very worried. We do fear that is going to mean that something again isn't turning in our favor. But I do think we're adjusting to these new situations, both happening on divine feminine side and divine masculine. And this apprehension can be happening, but I am actually seeing that this is going to cause a big change for both parties, and it is going to be jumping in the deep end of new chapters. Anxiousness, definitely I am tuning into, and there's a lot, I would say, both within the solar plexus and the sacral chakra for the joint connection. Yes, something very quickly is happening. This is quite abrupt. This is quite quick. I do think this is positive, though, and I do think if divine masculine in the mix of the situation, if this situation has become heated, volatile, or the frequency has got to a space where it's very quiet, I also feel this person is actually in the emperor position. In the heart of hearts, I do think this circumstance is changing. At the moment, it may feel as though we do need to be a little bit more autonomous and what would the word be? Filling our cup, understanding our deeper emotion, and trying to understand that some of this frequency we can be picking up from the collective. But it's also about our value systems. It's about filling our cup, looking after ourselves. The passion is running high. So we have equal opportunities here for very, very positive things, but we also run the risk of losing our cool. There is a passionate start to this. And again, I do feel the dream state energy coming through, and I do think both parties are experiencing dream states. Now, sometimes divine feminine, this individual can enter into your dream state, and you may be like acutely aware that they have entered, but you may not know what is being said, what the actual visions were within the dream. So you can wake up almost feeling a little bit confused. They're making reference to this point, and they're saying if this is happening to you at an individual level, it's sort of like whatever they're needing to tell you, they're telling you in your dream state, so that whatever this new situation is, it's not going to be a shock to the system. They're easing you into the circumstance. They're also testing the waters to see spiritually if you are in alignment and open to those doors opening. I do think there's apprehension, and this person knows that they need to jump in the deep end with you. If there has been a past grievance, I'm also feeling as though they are apprehensive to do with this, of how you will receive them. This can be a feeling of, for some it can be vengeful energy. For some it can be apprehension, talking about the elephant in the room. How is that going to feel? But there is this passionate frequency, and it does feel like sort of like the serpent rising, something coming into an alchemization, but it feels sudden, and it also feels very passionate, but it's an exchange to a degree, but it does feel quite large. I feel for those of you that are in communication, there's going to be some words said. I do feel it can be statement pieces of personal needs. For some of you, this can be a negotiation. This negotiation also can be happening in the ethers, but nevertheless, I am seeing it as a synchronistic message that does link to those of you in communication, those of you not. It does feel like it's a portal, and it feels as though we're moving into this new chapter, this new timeline. I feel your ideal of what you're wanting versus what you've received so far has fallen short. But in saying that, I do feel any small step is a big step. And I feel there are groups of you that if you did see a significant change, even if it was a small one, you would be open to that circumstance, providing you saw evolution and change. I do feel this person has felt as though they've been very slight, small offers, so to speak. Yeah, one party in the mix here is wanting so much more. The other is a tad apprehensive. There is a lot of commitment, and the soul is actually making statement that this commitment is here. It feels like a soul contract. I feel there's a home-related dynamic going on, and this can be to do with family. For some, this is on divine feminine side. There are things pulling divine feminine to be socially responsible. But the home environment, I do feel, is quite large. I do feel this person could be moving home. I do feel both parties, for some reason, are very much in their head. The outcome card you do have is the Star. It feels like there's a mulling over of a process here. I feel divine masculine linking to divine feminine has a lot of chemistry. I feel they know that they need to level up. I also feel that they are aware that small offers have been made. This could have been testing the water and seeing how things go. For some, this is their intuition of how they're wanting such to be. It's like, okay, I'm going to go in. This is what I'm going to do. But it feels they're thinking of it quite a lot. I do feel they know that under the circumstances of how things played out, I feel as though they know that you deserve more. But they are making reference to an individual that did take them for a ride in some shape or form. I just keep hearing copying it sweet. Okay, they're making reference to Thanksgiving. Divine feminine is feeling they're having the time of their life. What is this? Whoever's around them is toxic as hell. Okay, this person's a manipulator. This divine masculine, I do feel, is trying to swing things in their favor. For some, they could be dealing with a karmic situation. It doesn't have to be that they're in a romantic relationship, but it feels a karmic scenario shift. This can link to a job or money. I think they're thinking their way out of this. They know that they're going to be happy. This could also have some situation playing out with family or a home. Okay, what do they want divine feminine to know, please? Don't know about that one. We'll leave that at the moment. I'll come back to it. They're saying that they're not wanting This is either a... There's a karmic here. I always yawn when there's a karmic. It's like this toxicity that comes through. There's a person that has them over a barrel somehow. I feel that this person has caused stress. I do feel divine masculine in the mix is tackling it in the way that they know how. This is a tactical approach. I do not feel this is making reference to it being an intimate romantic partner, but there is a karmic in the mix here and is causing issues. Divine masculine is like thinking about the connection with divine feminine. Okay, they know today that they have dragged their feet with this. They're making reference to feet being dragged, not investing as much as they should have been. The connection is very solidly on their mind, but it does feel as though there's a drama here. Some sort of a drama. Yeah, this is to do with a lesson. They are in the magician energy. This does feel positive. Let's have a look at their ruin past to get a bit more clarity. And the card. God of Love. Yeah, this is an ex. This is an old situation. This is also choosing themselves. Okay, the ruin cast. Where are we at? Okay, Saturn. I told you, Saturn and Pisces is shitting us at the moment. Saturn and Pisces it links to. Okay, Squirrel, Capricorn, Pluto. We're in the Scorpio moon. Saturn, Saturday, Black, Earth, and Fire. Okay, we will get the card out. I'm telling you, you're swapping energies for some reason. So apply this also in your life if you're a feminine and you feel this area is out of balance for you, but also look at it as divine masculine. Okay, God of Love. We have God of Love in reverse. Now, personal needs. I told you. That's what I was picking up. It's almost like I need to choose myself, but I have to consider everyone else. Personal needs. Self-preservation, initiative. I'm telling you, this person's toxic who they're dealing with it, and they're hating it. Spiritual needs, deliverance from distress, self-mastery, transcendence, greed, excess, and patience, extinguishing of the inner fire. This is sacral chakra. So Scorpio energy is about us getting to the root cause of something, looking at maybe with the Pluto and Capricorn energy, what's rotten, what's working, what's not. Let's be honest with ourselves. And we do have a very traditional energy coming through with Sagittarius at the moment, which is really linked to divine masculine. So this self-love energy, God of Love, it's almost like, where have I not been loving myself? You know, a lot of times we look at them when they're within a karmic relationship and we say, oh my God, they're going to be there forever. And they've been putting up with this rubbish and they come and dump in me, or you're hearing things through the grapevine, regardless of how your situation's going. This person, if they feel this is not in alignment and they're not choosing themselves, we cannot choose another until we choose ourselves, because then we know exactly what we do and don't like, what we will and won't stand for, and we have those boundaries. So what we do attract into our world is more conducive with who we are. Now, divine masculine for a while there was in the hangman position, really sacrificing the things that they needed, sacrificing who they were, getting angry about it, feeling entrapped. This is now where they're looking at it and they're thinking, gee, you know, am I picking player energy? Yes, but this is more in the context of past tense. It's like, I literally bought into the circumstance. I literally played into this circumstance, and I got myself in a bit of a pickle with these dynamics of people, places, and things. Now I'm realizing that I'm building that energy up and I'm starting to love myself. That, you know, this is a learnt lesson. This is where, you know, maybe getting to a point where you're just, you know, partying and call it party and bullshit. It's like not really investing in something so deeply, but getting in the thick of it regardless. This is going to the past position, and I feel this person has had a revelation. I feel they do know that they need to leave this situation in the past. It's stayed a little bit too long, but the good thing is at the heart of it, they are in this magician energy. This is a tactical approach. There is a reason why, and they have the strength to be able to choose to address this. What does feminine need to know relating to the circumstance, please? It feels stressful. They're making reference to, please don't feel I've abandoned you. Please don't feel this is it. I know there's space between us, but this is shifting. I'm addressing it. Yeah, this is actually making them move faster because they're feeling it. They're also making reference to the fact that they have felt quite down on themselves. They may not have been communicating with other individuals also, but they will with you. They're trying to bring peace to the situation between the both of you. They do have a Cupid. They have one person in mind. It's like they're making reference to the fact, look at this. This is honestly, there's two doves, right? At the bottom, notice the one arrow. This individual is literally sitting there like there's a whole lot. It's almost like a bird in the hand is worth 20 in the bush. That's kind of the analogy of what they're showing me. And they're looking down. They're really only focused on the future. They know there's only one that fits that need. And so the bird in the hand is worth 20 in the bush. And they're making reference to divine feminine. But they don't want you to be sad. They don't want you to second guess yourself and feel that you're not the one they want to be with. I'm also hearing, they're working it out. They really are working it out. Now, divine feminine, your ruin cast. Let's get into yours. And I did select a card as well, Transcendence. Okay, you guys are going through this. It's almost like a serpent and it's shedding its skin. It's moving above and beyond. It's moving very transformatively. You may need to get grounded. This can be a very difficult transition. Sometimes we can feel very alone in this awakened part of the journey. And it's almost like you're coming out of this cocoon, you're having this rebirth. It might not feel natural to you at this point in time, but there has been so many changes that you've spiritually gone through that it has caused a lot of angst. Now, this ruin cast, it's very Mars in nature. And like I said, most of these ruin casts that have come up, A is Uranus. It is causing issues. We did just have the eclipse in Taurus last month. Then we moved to the Scorpio moon, which is occurring for, those of you that are watching this on the 13th. For some of you, different hemispheres, it can be earlier. But already the moon's sitting in the house of Scorpio. We're already picking up on that intensity and it's causing anxiousness. So look at this individual. It's almost like going up but going down. What goes up must come down, as within, as without. Getting grounded, earthing your energy in. Karmically speaking, look, plant those seeds. If we're feeding the energy spiritually of negativity, we're going to feel heavier. That's not to say that you're a bad person if that's what's going on. Sometimes it can be a 3D circumstance. I do feel that you have already, with your TF, I do feel that you've already planted the seeds. You've already invested in the circumstance. I also feel spiritually a lot of these old emotions can be coming back and they can be coming back up again. And again, it's an 8, so it's very Scorpion in nature. There can be all of a sudden obsessiveness. There can be protectiveness. And this moon is going to do a bit of a number, but they're asking you to sit with it, to move through it, to try and do breathing exercises. Even tonight, I literally said to Twin, I'm having a panic attack. And I'm looking at him and I'm going, and I go, it's going to be okay, right? That song, tell me lies, tell me sweet. It's going to be okay, right? It's the collective consciousness. It's the frequency that is coming up at the moment. It can be quite intense. Divine Feminine, you need surety. Surety can come from when we see a slight change, and it can give us the confidence to say to ourselves, it's not that there is a surety in anything, but when you see effort, when you see change behavior, that aids you in becoming more comfortable with it. So I feel at a 3D level, you can be asking your guides, you can be really coming to a space where you're almost like, Gaia, take the wheel. Please give me a sign that I'm on the right path. Please, lead the way. It is asking you to be ready. It is asking you to be open. And I think your heart is very ready for this connection. It's also saying that if you need to, you can change direction. You can change your approach. Foundational level, there can be two paths for you. I'm definitely feeling this is more to do with the changed approach within it. I also feel you're open to the connection, providing the situation has changed. So let's look at the rune cast a bit more. Now, you've invested, right? We went into the investment state with Divine Feminine. You invested in this path, and we've all been there. We've all said, gosh, what's this supposed to be about? Was it just the ins and outs and to turn our lives upside down? Or spiritually, was there, okay, it was for the cliche healing, but is that all it was for? No, not at all, okay? So, relates to the tree ash, elm, deity, which is Odin, which we could call Gaia or Buddha, fire, whatever you spiritually believe in, fire. Okay. Verbal root, modern English, gift, the words gift and given. So, oh God, I did say this moon would be vengeful. Some of you could be feeling as though because you gave something you are owed. And that's not that you're a bad person. It's a natural thought. It's like give and take. It's like a cycle. It's a wheel. It's a world. Things flow. And look, that's boundaries. We have boundaries. Hopefully, to a degree, it protects us. We're never always protected. Okay, so there is karmic closes, obviously, we're having at the moment with this moon, with this rune cast relating to Divine Feminine. Okay, saying the recipient of a gift was always required to make a gift in return of equivalent value, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. It will be remembered that Odin gave one of his eyes to the Miramar in exchange for a gift of wisdom. Okay, now, mundane. Opportunities, partnership, love, match, sacrifice, obligation. Esoteric meaning, karmic union, divine revelations. Now, I really sat with this rune cast a while ago, and I did write some notes in the book, and it says, nothing is for nothing. Okay, so sometimes we can say to ourselves, especially in this path, everything that's happened, is it for nothing? Is that it? Is that all it's going to be? It is a wonderfully positive rune cast, promising positive exchange, connections and interactions, and fair play on all levels. On an esoteric divinational level, this rune cast suggests that the quadrant has been or will be offered a gift from Gaia. This can take the form of wisdom or insight or an opportunity. The quadrant is warned, however, and this is so common. I do recall realizing how often I was manifesting, and I was literally anything terrible I was thinking about, I'd manifest, and it would happen over the 25 years of my TF path. And then I thought to myself one day, this was in a separation state, I was like, why does this keep happening to me? Like, I literally will think of something and bang, it will happen. And I had equal parts of that happening when I had the high positive energy and it was happening. But honestly, more so than not, it was happening when I was in that negative vibration. So I really sat back and I thought about it and I went, wow, we are constantly manifesting. So now what I do tend to do is if I am in that And I love Deb does reads. So please, Deb, if you're listening, don't hate me. I love you, lady. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Deb is high vibe. Debbie Downer, it's like that frequency of feeling, oh my gosh, everything is going to go wrong for me. Because what I'm physically sensing is universe is saying, even when we hear the term, universe is going to give you a clue. Universe is going to give you some idea to have a breakthrough with your path. What they're actually showing here is it could aid you with having this movement moving forward, however that lands for you. The quadrant is warned, however, of the responsibility, because there's always karma, especially if we go into vengefulness, inherently in accepting such gifts, because when we're ascended, we're woke. There's a social responsibility. Nothing comes from nothing, okay? Sometimes we spiritually have these revelations. It can be through a disaster and we have a revelation and we're never the same again. Emphasizing the quadrant's onus to use the gift correctly and to acknowledge both the giver and the given. Reversed, it warns against taking gifts or relationships for granted. At worst, it foreshadows theft or betrayal and may also caution us against giving of oneself too freely and spreading oneself too thinly. And I can tell you, it relates to me. Just reading this, I'm like, yeah, that's what I've done yet again. We're having a Brittany moment. Oops, I did it again. Anyway, healthy give and take, healthy boundaries. So I feel divine feminine here in the mix has some, this could be the sacral chakra, this could be the inner child. Feeling butthurt. Again, the moon phase is not helping this situation. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Because what it's going to do is it's evolving you. What we look as maybe something really terrible energetically, it's actually going to turn us spiritually inside out. It's going to clear the grit out. And then it's opening us with a clearer chakra that we can actually have this manifestation more on a higher octane level come towards us openly. But at the foundation, there is the union energy. I'm just really feeling as though divine feminine at this point can feel quite apprehensive. I do feel for some of you, many times when we look at the term detachment, we do go into stating, well, I'm in detachment, I'm so nonchalant. But it's really more so about how the situation maybe will show up, what you think needs to happen. Intuitively, we know internally what would need to happen and what would make you feel comfortable. But also don't feel worried if you need to, especially for those of you in communication. You need to have a hard conversation with this person, or you need to say this is how I feel to do with this circumstance. I'm trying to be adult about it. But I definitely do see DM here needing to talk to you, knowing how this situation has affected you. You potentially spiritually are picking up on their energy. And I feel you're kind of saying to them energetically, I would say on the 4D, that unless you come correct, it's not going to work with me anymore. I'm closing an old door on who I used to be. I know what I'm deserving of. I'm going to do this in an adult form. I'm not going to be vindictive, bitter, nasty. I'm going to calm my energy if I'm feeling that vibration, and I'm going to allow universe to bring this situation to me correct, because I really feel this is very positive. I do feel also you can have some revelations that are happening in your own life. And it's going to be some breakthroughs. So when there may be over the next week some problems that do arise. This can be in very tedious, trivial areas, but it does kind of knock you for six and you're kind of wondering how you're going to navigate through it. Again, I do feel you're going to have a gift given to you, and this can really help you out of this circumstance. The thing you're really going to have to navigate this week in the mix of the TF path is the fact that you may need to get grounded in order to cope with this energy upgrade. But also that there is going to be a transformation. Some of you also need to, in the context of your path, not be... many times we try to compare notes on, okay, it took me this long for me to transcend, that therefore on their part of the journey, what they're going through is going to take them the same. I do feel this person is very open to this. It's undeniable that they are maturing and changing, especially from the cards. There is a changed attitude coming. It's going to happen quicker than you think with that. Once it starts shifting, it's sort of like a snowball effect. Are they looking at the connection with you? Yes. Do they look to the future? Yes. Are they physically at this point in time dealing with a physical circumstance that is taxing and stressful? Yes. It is going to change, especially for those of you in communication. The way in which they communicate with you can be at times a little funky. But again, it is going to become quite playful, and I do believe by mid-month. But we're going to have to be this month, unfortunately, and fortunately, less codependent in nature. Doesn't mean you can't have a need. Doesn't mean you can't deal with something. I'm also picking up DM is talking to family. This feels a close family. It feels as though they are discussing how to best approach this circumstance. This feels like sibling energy and parent energy. The reference point they're making is, again, Thanksgiving and Christmas. This could be occurring during that time, but they're referencing this month. So I feel they're talking to this individual more so to get their advice. This is a valued member. This is someone they deem as tribe. It doesn't have to be DNA, but I'm feeling for a majority of you it is. This person, these individuals are actually explaining your perspective. They're actually becoming your advocate. They're actually asking DM to understand how this is huge. That you have gone through a lot of change. I do really feel that they're being your advocate. I do feel a grandparent energy on the other side. This could be a synchronistic message for one or two of you, but I'm hearing you are my sunshine. They feel they're protecting you. They're also saying, whoever this grandparent energy is, it could be a female or a male, but they're making reference to a sunflower. They're making reference to the physical song. It's almost like they're trying to calm you. They're actually asking, if you need my help, you can ask me. Send your wishes to me. I've got your back. I'm making that happen. I know you're down at the moment. It is going to get better. But you have been through a lot of changes, so they're really wanting you to be gentle with yourself. I do directly see this person is learning to love themselves. They feel the Selena Gomez song is very relevant. They feel that they're needing to walk a mile in your shoes so they can come home to themselves and be there for you. Any quick questions while I'm here and packing up? Feel free to tell us how this relates, especially as the week proceeds. Come back and re-listen to this and see any synchronistic messages that you may have missed. A lot of times when we go back and we re-listen, we get more info coming through on the video. And sometimes we can come back and be deeply surprised by what we're hearing and go, oh, that's what come up. So is anything energetically happening with any of you guys as we do venture towards this moon in Scorpio and beyond? Has it felt heavy? There is an upheaval here. I have opened up the masculine, feminine, and karmic for the week. So if you didn't get a notification, you missed half the video. You have to go back and have a look, sweet. I'm going to love yous and leave yous, and more than likely I will be live during the week, especially in the members. I do believe I've got the element reads to do, so stay tuned and I'll see you then. I wish you all the best during this week as we do move through this moon. I'll give you a heads up, maybe in the community tab, how this Scorpio moon plays out for me. Take care, and I'll see you soon.